hymn number 70. This is well, if you've been old and you went to did y'all go to the church when Brother J.C. Harrison
Yes.
did the music? This is one of his favorites. Okay, so number 70. That's okay, class. We repeat. I repeat class in class. I repeat, page numbers in sign language, in Spanish, in English. Write on my Lord. Eventually, something gets it.
What do you say?
Página 70. Right?
I know some.
See,
I found out yesterday how to translate masculine tape into Spanish.
oh, good.
It's masculine tape.
Who would have thought it?
I
Who would have thought it?
Our translator is like,
There's your Spanglish for you. See? When you hear a word, you go, oh, I know that word. That's the only word in the whole vocabulary that I've ever heard. That's the one I know. Walmart. All right. Number 70, will Jesus find us watching when Jesus comes to reward his servants? You may remain seated. Miss Ruth is going to begin playing, and I'm going to begin singing, so are you. When Jesus comes to reward his servants, whether it be noon or night, faithful to him will he find us watching with the all trim and bright. Oh, can we say we are ready, brother, ready for the soul's bride home? Say, will he find you and me still watching, waiting when the Lord shall come? If at the dawn of the early morning he shall call us one by one, when to the Lord we restore our talents, will he answer thee, well done? Oh, can we say we are ready, brother, ready for the soul's bride home? Say, will he find you and me still watching, waiting when the Lord shall come? Blessed are those whom the Lord finds watching, in his glory they shall share. Will he find us watching there? Oh, can we say we are ready, brother, ready for the soul's bride home? You and me still watching, waiting when the Lord shall come. All right, y'all need really good on this. I mean, that's your very first time you ever heard that song in your entire life. Now, Miss Diane, you can sing it like you've known it forever.
I don't care.
I can hear you singing. Oh, really? Now the secrets are out. And so what instrument do we play? Oh, we sing.
No, we don't do the piano. We have the clarinet.
That's it. People who read music usually have some form of reason they read the music. Either they're singers or they are musicians. I don't read music, and I need them, as you can well tell. Okay. All right, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father, we thank you tonight for your blessings. We thank you for your goodness and your mercies and your grace towards us. And Father, we just pray this evening that, Lord, you would bless the service tonight, to speak to our hearts and encourage us, and even scripture for through that word. Dear and Father, we pray as we open the service this evening, Lord, with prayer, Lord, prayer list, Lord, that you would help us, Lord, to be mindful that every request is made, for every desire of the heart, for every heartbreak, for every joy, for every praise. Lord, you're there, Lord, to hear and to undertake each and every situation. Father, we just pray tonight that you bless this service. Lord, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, if you will, take the prayer list, and Brother Mark is coming. He's getting the mic. All right, looking at the prayer list, we continue to pray for Patty that she would, is on the transplant list to get a pancreas and a kidney. So do be in prayer for her. Also for Joey, the Toronto family. Okay. Miss Cook, Wayne Cook, that is Miss Brenda's sister. In prayer for her, Brother Lee. Praise the Lord, he's here.
Amen.
And, looking good.
Yes, he is.
The improvement is right here. That was a, good move right there. But everything was good for him. Continue to pray for him while he hears. Continue to pray for him as he goes through treatments as well as heart issues. Brother Bill and Miss Frankie, continue to pray for them. Miss Frankie sent me a message and gave me an update on Dusty. He's still going through, that's a couple downs from there, but he's still going through therapy, but he is at home. And continue to pray for him, if you will, as well as his family. And then for the Kurtz family, last week we asked prayer for his uncle Chuck. His uncle Chuck passed away, and that service will be this weekend. And so that is why he is not here tonight. He directly from work to his family's house, and then so be in prayer for the family, if you will. And if he was here, he would be asking prayer for his friend Rolando at work and salvation. And so I added that there for L. Wilbur, Kyle McGee, cousin Bill Rafferty, and of course Mrs. Both our favorite. All right. Is there anybody that we can add to the prayer list? We're going to start on this side, work this way. Didn't have Doug back.
Amen.
That, but he has his hand up real hard.
Yeah, just praise and prayer request. Praise the Lord. It's a good trip. Beautiful weather. Took a few pictures and make posts on Facebook. But it was a productive trip with my dad. Prayed for my dad and his parents. The 4th of February. Just the place to stay is really nice. I think it's a little bit too much. We prayed because we might try to talk to him about moving for us kids next year. So that's we're going to pray about that. He's a very old-fashioned kind of guy. And, he just needs it's glad that somebody's was care for him. People around him. So I'm glad that pray for me. I have some VA assessments I have to do. So this has been a wonderful blessing to get some get them fair things done and get them free. Amen. I got them. So
They're not free, you pay for those. In your service.
Amen.
I did pay a long time ago. But I'm thankful that my wife is slowly recovering. Continue to pray for her. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else in the second? All right. That's right here. All right. Let's go.
I have a couple. First, Samantha Homestead. Not being nice. And Tim isn't homesick, he's been sick since last night. And then pray for me, because I'm gonna go down to Houston tomorrow for a conference. And lead the traffic, so I gotta be there at 7:30. So I'm just praying about that. And pray for Heather, she had a test done, and I guess she has carpal tunnel also, on top of everything else. She'll find out about that next week.
Anybody else in the section of the report, Lee?
Yes, and I want to pray for Bill Sexton. Would like to have an update on him. We need to know.
Brother Sexton is, he is back at the rehab, evidently, when we had a snafu with our, when we took him off, but, he is back at the rehab. His sugar dropped, and, they had to bring him to San Jacinto to the emergency room, and they did get him back, his blood sugar back up and all. He is back at the rehab in Pasadena, and, he's doing better. He did have some, bruising and on the bottom of his chair. What is today? It was Monday. Believe me, days anymore, I'll go to work tonight and I'll get off in the morning, and then I'm on two before, y'all even think about, so.
And I'd like to pray for Tony. She has health problems. And I want to thank my church family, this church, for all the prayers. It's good to be back.
Amen. All right, anybody else have any courage for that?
Then done support.
You're fine, just go ahead, Tom.
Like to just lift up, Renee, he's, currently found out he's going to go into rehab. So I hope that he has a speedy recovery in rehab. And for myself, spiritual, guidance, over rehab, and serving that, and effectiveness towards him.
Heather?
Philip Preston, he is traveling to Tyler tomorrow for work for 2 weeks. He wishes for
And, we got a text from Brother Kurt. It said, pray for me, I'm traveling to Tyler for 2 weeks, and we're going to get okay, I know I was asleep when it came through, and I saw it, and I go, okay, ooh, oh, Philip. I thought you would know that. The things that y'all think I know, I don't, I promise you. All right, anybody else? Okay, continue to pray for, services and, just the overall health of the church, financially, spiritually. We need revival, not just our church, but our individually as well as collectively, and then of course our nation. Continue to pray for those in New York that were involved or interesting in what happened yesterday, and it just keeps going. And I think if our news media would quit glorifying it and making a big deal about it, and they're not getting their names in the news and all that, it would stop or at least slow down. But they just have to keep pushing. And of course, when Obama took office, everything was Bush's fault. Now that Obama's out of office, nothing's his fault, it's all Trump's fault. So, anyway, you've got to blame somebody, and it's passing the buck. But do be in prayer for each one of those. Our missionary for Wicked Brother Mike and Marcy Quill in Paraguay, and of course our list of prayer missionaries on the other side there will ask you to pray for those on a regular basis. All right, so now for prayer, I'm going to ask Brother Mark Cruz to pray, please.
Father, as we come before you this evening, Father, I just want to thank you for allowing us to be here in America where we can come on Wednesday evening. We have the ability to be here, the freedom to be here. Father, we all have prayer requests to lift up this evening. Father, I just lift them up to you. Lord, I don't know the specifics, Father, but I know your ear was down towards us, Father. We're lifting these names, Father, and each individual one. Lord, you know the needs, you know what's going on. Father, I ask that you would guide and direct each situation, Father, that your will be done, and that we will give you glory for everything, Lord, that you have done for us, Father. We lift up our church, Lord. Father, I know, Lord, that each individual in this room, Father, that has personal revival, Lord, the things, the finances, and the other things in this church to take care of. Father, I firmly believe, I ask that you would help us, Father. Help us to recognize where we are failing, Father, and give us the conviction, Father, and the courage, Father, that we need to step forward and be with life. I think also that we get our government and the soldiers, military, for protecting their freedoms, their wisdom, and how they ought to conduct their daily business, Father, as they represent us here. We lift up everything that's going on around us, Father, those in New York. Father, and our family members that have suffered, have died, Father, lift up those families. Father, I pray that through this tragedy, Lord, that if they are lost, Father, that someone would be around them, Father, to witness to them, and share with them, for eternity now. But this world doesn't end, our heart is beat. Father, eternity just begun. Father, I want to lift up our missionaries, Father, God, and direct them as they are sharing the gospel, Father. And you know the trials and tribulations that they're going through. And I ask that you would help them financially, and also as we pray for them, you've got them right. I just want to thank you for everything that you're going to do. For Christ in my prayer. Amen.
Amen. All right, we will take a hymn, we'll turn to number 169. It's probably a familiar song, it's not one that we have sung in a while. Come thou fount of every blessing, fill my heart to sing God's praise. If you would please stand, and we'll ask him to do the offering on the last verse. 169. Come thou fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy praise. Jesus, mercy never ceasing, offer songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise the mountain fixed upon it, mount of thy redeeming love. Here I raise mine Ebenezer, hither by thy help I come, and I know by thy good pleasure safely I'll arrive at home. Sought me when a stranger, wandering from the fold of God, he to rest we received an offering this evening, just reminding you that our offering is for the building fund, and the building fund is to help to retire the debt we had on the building of this building, thanks to our local fire marshal and their personal indiscretionary interpretation of what fire code is, for which you have no control. Okay? And so, anyway, but be in prayer, we'll get that taken care of as quickly as possible. Another issue that we're going to have, which is going to add a financial burden to us, is that because our first fire system was struck by lightning or power surge or something that's always been covered, they decided they were going to cover this time. And we had to redo the entire system, and to like $30,000, which we pay out by the month. But anyway, so if you look over here and you see these little things popping up here and there. That's the reason for it, because now we don't have to have the fire alarm, flashing and all that. It has to have an audible to tell you this one. Yeah, it has to be an audible also. There is a fire in the building. Please exit the building. So, as if we did not already know that. Okay. So, that's going to be another burden we have. All right, thanks to our local fire department and our codes. All right, so be in prayer about that if you will. So, God, for prayer, brother, how are you doing some prayer, please?
Heavenly Father, Lord, so thank you for allowing us to be here, Lord. Just having love that you allow us to be born and raised in a country that allows us to freely worship you, Lord. And Lord, so that one, thank you, Lord, that you love me enough that you allow me to be here, Lord. Lord, I want to thank you for this church, Lord, and I just pray for that. So it's a special blessing of this church, Lord. Father, as we receive this offering, Lord, I just pray that you use the word, that you be able to settle the debt on this building, that we no longer have to have that burden on this building, it's new, but much come on to us. And Lord, we lay it at your feet, Lord, we know that you'll take care of it. You know everything, you know. Lord, we will be very lucky and have a home, so Lord, and I just pray that the time that you'll reveal it to us, Lord. And, Father, I just pray that you'll hold up Mark this morning, this evening with the Holy Spirit, Lord, that you'll have him behind your cross, Lord. And just give us a message that we need to help re-energize us to finish out the rest of this week. Father, we love you and thank you for everything you've done for us. And we ask all these things in the name of your Son, Christ Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Ruth. If you would, open your Bible and turn to 2 Samuel. After you for Luke, didn't you? 2 Samuel, chapter number 11. 2 Samuel, chapter number 11. Once you found your spot, I would invite you to stand in honor of reading God's word. If you're not able to, you understand. 2 Samuel, chapter 11. We will be covering the whole chapter and into 12, but we're not going to read the whole chapter tonight in this one setting. And so 2 Samuel chapter 11, verse 1 says, "And it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem." Father, as we come before you this evening, Father, I ask once again that you would empty me of myself, my sin. Father, fill me with thine Holy Ghost. Father, that I may preach thus saith the word of the Lord. Father, I ask that we'd also, Lord, anything that is vying for our time, or that we would focus on you tonight, and the message tonight, and not on those things, or whether it's stresses, or the game tonight, or whatever it may be. Father, I pray and ask that we would focus on your word tonight. Be sure to give you the honor and glory for Christ's name we pray. Amen. Thank you for being seated. I told Mike the faster I got up here, the faster I'd be done. And then Miss Charlene, it didn't matter. She goes, "You be quick tonight." And then Miss Vicky said, "Bob, as long as you want." So they're out of the house divided this evening. And so I know Miss Vicky said she was going to go and buy a Dodger shirt in the morning that they win. I think she was just giving her sister a hard time. But anyway, I'll talk fast if you listen fast. Amen. All right, as we see here, most of us know what's going on in this chapter. Most of us know that David is about to do a no-no, right? He's about to commit sin. And so we see here in chapter 11, number 1, if you're taking notes, Ms. Charlene, the birth of a sin. The birth of a sin, if we look at verses 1 through 5, we read verse 1, it says, verse 2, it says, "And it came to pass in the evening time that David arose off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house, and from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? And David sent messengers and looked and took her, and she came in unto him and lay with her, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned into her house. And the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I am with child. So here we have the birth of a sin. David was supposed to not be at the castle, right? He's not supposed to be at home. He's supposed to be at war. And we have the saying, idle hands do the devil's work. He was being lazy. And if you read, it says he woke up in the evening time. So evidently he's been napping during this time, during the day, and woke up in the evening and decided to take a roof on his house. Now, him taking a roof on top of his house is probably not a bad thing. The bad thing is once he saw the woman, he focused on her. You and I, we're going to be faced with day-to-day things that you and I are out of our control. Working at Walmart, ladies dressed skimpy. I can't not see that, but I can't not focus on that. And guys too. Mind you, guys can dress just as bad. See, I can't stop what they're doing, but I can stop what I do on my end. But David walking on his roof in itself is not bad, but once he saw and he gazed upon the woman, said it was very beautiful. Bathsheba was very beautiful. All right? And so, the birth of a sin, he saw her. What comes after you see? You want. He saw her, why? Because he said he inquired of her. Want to know who she was. And so, with the number 1 is we see the birth of a sin. And this sin happens to be adultery, right? And so, David, he inquires of her. Not only does he inquire of her, he sends messengers to what? To go get her. He saw something he shouldn't have. But let me tell you, we all do that. We see some things that we don't need to have. You know, adultery or lust comes in more forms than just physical with the opposite sex. Vehicles, whatever fits your fancy, But this was happened to be a woman. He was being lazy, decided to get up out of his bed, walk over to this whole woman and wanted it. And so, since there was a birth, the birth of a sin, there's also the cause of a sin. The cause, number 2, the cause of a sin. Look at verse 6. It says, and David sent Joab, saying, send me Uriah the Hittite. Not only does he sin with Bathsheba, but he's about to sin again. And so Uriah the Hittite, and Joab sent Uriah to David. And when Uriah was coming to him, David demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. Now, David, in the back of his mind, he's already got a plan. All right, he's got a plan. I know this is Uriah's plan. I've got to do something about my sin. See, what he's trying to do, he's trying to cover it up. He's trying to make it to where it looks like he didn't do anything. He hit that erase button on the phone. He hit the delete button of our history on our phone or on the computer. Oh, it's quiet now. See, even though he was using another man, we do the same thing. We try to cover up our no-nos. Right? And so that's what he was trying to do. And David said to Uriah, go down to thy house and wash thy feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed him a mess of meat from the king. Now he's just buttering him up. He says, go wash your feet. What's he saying? Go spend time with your wife. While you do that, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to send a mess of meat. But you know there's a thing about integrity and honorable men. See, Uriah had integrity. He was an honorable man to his king, was he not? Look at verse 9. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and went down not to his house. And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down to his house, David said unto Uriah, camest thou not from the journey? Why then didst thou not go down unto thy house? David said, why didn't you go? Everything that's been going on, why didn't you go to your house? And then Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents. And my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into mine house to eat and to drink, and to lie with my wife, as thou livest, and as thy soul liveth? I will not do this day. So Uriah tells David, hey, the ark of God, Israel, all these folks they're in tents, and my friends and my commander, they're in the field. And you want me to go lay in my house? See, Uriah had this he had this understanding. This is what's going on with them. Just because I have the ability to do this doesn't mean I'm going to. Because I have the luxury of going to my house and doing this, I'm not going to, because I have brethren that are out in the field or in tents. See, he had integrity. Something that is lacking in America today. I would dare to say spiritual integrity with Christians today. See, David has his plan. We see that then David, he can't get Uriah to do it on his own. So what does David do? He coerces him, does he not? Let's look as we continue. And David said unto Uriah, tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let thee depart. So Uriah abode in Jerusalem that day and tomorrow. And when David had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And at the even he went out to lie on his bed with his servants of his Lord, but went not down to his own house. David still couldn't get him to go back home. And he wrote in the letter, saying, set Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. Verse 17, and the men of the city went out and fought with Joab, and there fell some of the people of the servants of David, and Uriah the Hittite died also. So now, David has committed another sin. So we've got adultery, we've got coercion, trying to get him drunk, and now he has Uriah's blood on his hands with murder. With every cause, there's an effect. Right? That's a scientific principle. We know when there's a cause, there is an effect. And we see the effect of sin, which is number 3. So now Uriah is dead. David thinks he's scot-free. Doesn't he? What does David do now that Uriah has a picture? He marries Bathsheba. He marries Bathsheba, the one he commits sin with. The effect is that David is about to lose not only his child that we see in chapter 12, but also a lot of other things that he's about to lose. Because our sin will have an effect on our life. Just because David, somebody in the Old Testament did it, and it had an effect on him, doesn't mean that just because we're under grace doesn't mean there's not going to be an effect. And so David does this, and he marries Bathsheba, and then Joab sends a messenger back to David and says, we sent them up to the wall and they got shot by the wall. And he tells the messenger, listen, if David gets mad because of that, tell him Uriah's dead. You'll be all right. So the messenger tells him that Uriah's dead, and I imagine David's like, okay, that's fine. So David thinks he's scot-free. Then we go to chapter 12. What happens in chapter 12? A man of God comes along. Right? Here's the effect. Chapter 12, verse 1, it says, and the Lord sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him and said unto him, there were 2 men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing save 1 ewe lamb, which he had bought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him and with his children. It did eat of his own meat and drink of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd to dress for the wayfaring man, and was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man. And he said unto Nathan, as the Lord liveth, the man that hath done this thing shall surely die, and he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. So now Nathan, the man of God, comes and tells David's story. Uses this story to confront David about sin. Now, we can't be harsh about someone's sin, or we could take Nathan, what he did here, and use it in the same way. So he goes to David and tells him. Now we know that the rich man is David. We know the poor man is Uriah, and we know the wayfarer and the stranger, right, is what? Is our flesh, right? Our flesh. And so David, he uses that as the ewe lamb is Bathsheba, right? And David, you're right, and Nathan comes and confronts David, and then David gets mad. He has no clue that Nathan is talking about him. He gets mad and tells him what the law is, that he's got to die, he's got to repay fourfold to this man-in-law. So then Nathan points his bony finger and says, "Thou art" what? The man. He points his finger and says, "You're the man. You're the one that did this." And then what does David say? He recognized that he had sinned against God. And the effect, God said, "I'm taking your wives, I've given you this, and I've given you that." He goes, "And if it wasn't enough, I'd have given you this and that," he says. He goes, "But you took that which was not yours, so I'm taking your wives." Right? He said, "Your neighbors are getting your wives." And he says, "Guess what's happening? I'm taking your child." See, the effect of David's sin was great upon his life. And see, God used the man to go to David before the rest of David's life was ruined. And what did Nathan say? It's okay, God has taken care of your sin. Right? Just like Jesus is taking care of our sin. Now let me ask you a question. You know, as Nathan went to David, if we went out here, we were driving down the road, whatever road it may be, Baytown, Houston, and we saw someone covered in blood. It's not Halloween. They're not in costume, but they're covered in blood. You can tell that they've been fatally wounded, right? How many of you would just keep driving? If you saw what a person on the side of the road, and maybe they even had a knife in the side or somewhere, or you can see that they've been shot, how many would just keep on driving and ignoring them? No, we wouldn't. Any rational person would stop the car, find out what's going on, call 911, right? And so that this person can get help. But yet, we with the sin, we don't. Listen, we have people whose sin is altering their life, that is ruining their life, and yet we do nothing. We just sit idle by and we judge them quietly in our mind instead of reaching out and helping them. Listen, we have the help, we have the cure, which is Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior, our Lord and Savior, do we not? We have the cure, we have the medicine that they so desperately need, but yet we will sit idly by and watching the man that was my child, and we don't say anything to them. But yet if someone was bleeding while we're driving down the road, we would stop. Why? Why is it so that we would help them, but we won't help someone else in their sin? I don't know why we do that, other than our own flesh gets in the way. Or we enjoy judging someone else. Listen, we have a program that helps people. And since Hurricane Harvey, it's been pretty empty. We have the cure. But we're doing nothing. Saturday mornings, non-existent. And we're just trying to get along with our own, with our own 18 inches of pew. And we're doing nothing. Baytown is swirling down. Talked to a young, does never remember Cecil and his grandma? I saw them come today. They thought we had, what do you call it, the government for hurricane or natural disaster, FEMA. They thought we had FEMA here. I said, no. She goes, you remember We talked about my other grandson, Cecil's brother. So, yeah, I remember y'all mentioning about him wanting to be a prayer, he was in drugs and whatnot. She was like, yeah, he got shot. I said, he got shot. He's like, yeah. He said he was with a group of men, 3 other guys. He said the other 3 guys, the men that they all got shot. He goes, and Cecil took, or not Cecil, but his brother took off running. They shot him in the back. She goes, the other 3 men that were shot were dead, but she goes, Cecil's brother lived. She goes, he's paralyzed now. We have the cure. We have that help. We are the hospital. And we sit by and I think about this as if somebody were hurt, we would go to help them. See, that's the way we were before Christ. We were failing till we could break down. But then we got the medicine, we got the help that we needed. The blood of Christ. You and I, nurses, doctors, what do you want to call, whatever you want to call yourself, as spiritual nurses, spiritual doctors, whatnot, we have the help. It's the blood of Christ that they can be cured and help in their life. Will not be ruined. Listen, you and I are going to have to face Christ one day. We will. I want to tell you, my life, my ministry, those would be parts of it I'm ashamed of. It's like David, who was ashamed of his sin. I think I sin. But let me ask you, is David defined by the sin of Bathsheba? No. What is he? How is David defined? Being a man after what? God's own. Listen, you and I are not defined by our sin. We are defined by our Savior. It doesn't matter what's been going on in our life. The medicine, we have it. The blood of Christ. Your sin, my sin, is not what defines you or me. But Christ is who defines us. The thing is you have to let Him define you. You have to let Him. Because He is not going to force that on you. We have the cure. We have the great physician who has the cure. We know Him personally. Listen, I don't know any doctors personally, medical doctors. Okay? But I know the great physician. And I can take someone whose life has been affected because of their sin and take them and He can cure them. But I still have to have that head down. I don't know what you're going through, but I know the one thing. Bring them to church, bring them to RU, so they can receive. They can't receive it if they don't know about it. Listen, I have tried to eat as fast as I can because I know the first pitch is probably already thrown. But no, listen. And as I posted about Facebook, on Facebook about church today, listen, that's just a game. We're talking about eternity here, folks' souls. Listen, this right here is more important than any ball game, more important than roast or whatever's in the crock pot for dinner. But we have to act on it. We have that. If not, it's just a wish. It's just just a wish. We have to jump in and act. And it's a choice we have to make. Father, as we conclude tonight, for David was not defined by this sin of Bathsheba, but as a man that was after your heart. A man who forgave sins, a man who loved you, Father, and that's what David is defined by. Father, I pray that you would help us to be a Nathan that would go after these folks that are lost and bring them to you, Father. Whether it's family or co-workers, friends, neighbors, or whoever it may be, Father, that we would step up and be the Christian, the believer, as you so much want us to be. Father, if there's someone here that does not know you as a personal Savior, Father, I pray today that when the invitation is given and the music begins to play, that they step out and come forward, take their pastor by the hand, and let us know that they want heaven to be their home. Father, if they need to be baptized, they need to take their first step of spiritual growth, Lord, and recognize and be baptized, Lord. And I pray that they would do that they would come forward and want to be baptized and join our church, Father, and become an active member of Rockford Baptist Church. Whatever it may be, Father, whether it's dealing with sin, being saved, coming forward to present themselves as be baptized, whatever it may be. Father, I pray that you would do business with your people tonight. Of course, in Christ's name I pray. Amen.